Hi.
Welcome to another Tzuzamen. Hi, Tzipi.
Hi, Tzili.
We had two guys from Israelis. One is Ohad Cab, and the other one is, the top one is Ohad Cab, and the bottom one is Etai Raz. They both graduated the dogs unit from the IDF.
Oketz.
Yes, but who knows in America?
You'll be surprised.
The Oketz is the sting. That's basically the name in English. The sting, which is the special dog unit in the IDF. Hi, guys.
And they're supposed to be heroes.
Hello, hello.
The
Nice
dogs
to
are
meet you.
heroes.
Nice to be here.
Not only the
Tell
dogs.
us a little bit about the unit and what does it mean and how does it work?
And how I can join.
I'm not joining anywhere.
I may. So.
Is it our turn yet?
What?
Yeah. I'll tell you a little bit about the Oketz unit. It's been around for many years. It is the only unit in IDF that has fighting dogs, combat dogs. And basically, the soldiers go through a long course of learning how to be combat soldiers, as well as how to train dogs and operate them. And then the purpose of the unit is almost every commando operation that happens by the IDF, by any kind of unit, there's always a dog or two joining with a couple of soldiers from the unit. So basically, the unit joins other units, bringing the expertise of combat dogs.
But Etai, I think that each dog has its own soldier and they stay together forever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Correct. Well, it's not forever since
well, no, I know, but I mean, it's like they don't switch dogs. Each dog gets a soldier and they're a team through the whole
right.
time. Okay.
Right. So the dog may have in the course of its service, which may be around 6 to 8 years, might have two handlers, because the soldiers generally serve for 3 to 4 years. So the soldier may get discharged, the dog stays, gets another handler. But generally, yes, as long as you're in the unit, you have a dog, a single dog that you're with. That's your four-legged companion for your service. Sometimes you would even get them as they're brand new. So you would go through we would teach the soldiers how to be combat soldiers, as well as the dogs how to be combat dogs at the same time. And then they would graduate together, go into service. And then when the soldier gets discharged, the dog would get another handler for a couple more years before they also go on their pension.
So let's say now in Gaza, the fighting in Gaza, just walk us through. A unit goes in, and I'm talking about the dogs.
And
right. So there are a few kinds of expertise, I would say. There are the attack dogs. Their job is to basically disable enemies. That's one kind of activity. And then there's the search and rescue dogs. Those are the ones that would be looking for people, like in a rumble. And then there's obviously the explosive detection dogs. So the unit,
what is detection dog?
I'm sorry?
What is a detection dog?
Explosive detection.
Explosive, okay.
And of course I can go into the details, but you can
I
imagine.
understand explosive, but how can they know which is the person that you would like him to attack? You just point to him?
It's again, cannot go into detail, but imagine that a terrorist would be acting differently than a hostage inside a building, for instance. Okay, that's
interesting. So you mean
it is. That's why they go through the training.
Oh, okay.
How long it takes to train a dog like this?
It's at least a few months, okay? I don't want to, again, it really depends on what you're teaching the dog to do, but generally speaking, it would be a few months at least.
Ohad, tell me something. So you go out with a dog that you probably love him. I mean, it's an emotional
Yeah.
connection.
Hmm.
But
Yes.
he is
He's your
constantly,
best friend.
yeah, but he's in danger every time, right?
Yeah, but, everybody is danger, I guess, and
But you do send the dog forward, no? Sometimes.
we send the dog forwards. We send also the other soldiers forward. So I guess everybody is in the line of danger. But I think the dog have a very, very important role that he gives all the other soldier they like the insurance and the security they need, like to go on with everything they do. So I know like why what is your questions, because you get attached to the dog and then how can you send him forward, but we also get attached to all the soldiers that we work with, and we know from base this is our job, so we can allow like the emotion control us in those
Who
parts.
named the dogs? The soldier or the unit?
uh, the units.
They come
Mo-
with a
Once,
name.
so once you
or
get a dog,
or
it comes with the name.
I don't know if it's the units especially, but it's not the soldier for sure. Like we don't give the names for the dogs.
Did you volunteer to this unit or they offered you or when you were drafted?
I volunteer and I started working on myself for the unit from the age of 15 or 16. I used to go to I don't know what the exact word in English, but in Hebrew it called it like kosher kravi.
Yeah, it's physical training, something like
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I went like 2 times a week.
Combat,
training.
yeah.
2 times
Yeah,
a week
it's a volunteer
to
unit. So
yeah.
all the soldiers in the unit have volunteered to be in it. It's not mandatory.
Okay.
So, and you can imagine people really want to be in the unit too. I mean, it's very interesting. It's very fulfilling. The fact that you have a dog with you. I mean, you asked the difficult question of wait, what happens if,
If-
which is a difficult question if it happens to if
Sure.
something happens to a dog or to your companion soldier. It's very difficult, but also the dog's role is generally saving lives, and I mean, I think the dogs in certain scenarios are less in danger than people, just because the enemy um, doesn't care much for for hurting them because it's a dog, and it's a bunch of Muslims. So that's how it works, and so generally that's what the thing is about. I mean, the combination of the dogs and the soldiers basically keeps everyone safer.
So when you go
Mhm.
home for the weekend, you take the dog with you.
No, you don't.
Oh,
You don't.
really?
It stays in
No,
the
you have to remember it's like it's the IDF property. It's not our dog. So
Okay.
So
and
if you finish your service and the dog
It's
has been
old, so you can take him
6,
home.
7 years, then you can take them home with you, and basically you adopt the dog and it's your dog. But as far as weekends and stuff, I mean, a lot of people always stay in the base taking care of
Yeah,
your
so
dog
they're the
when you're not
babysitters.
around. Generally, you would be taking care of your dog always, unless you're not there, and then someone else would be taking care of
You
it.
know, there's a place in Florida that I visited, a big vet office that they have a whole department of service dogs. And the guys who patrols the border with Mexico, they leave the dogs there. They place them in a specific area of the vet's office in a very specific way, and they get attached, but they take them. I think that they don't have a person to a dog, and they don't let the dog get attached to people or to be with each other. It's so tough. And the people that are going to the border, they come, they take them, they do whatever they have to do by the border, they bring them back, and they're not with them. They're all alone all the time. They're being taken care of, but they're under very tough conditions for a reason that serves them by the border. And it's a little bit brutal, it's very hard to see.
Yeah.
It's very hard to see.
But your job is not just in a war, without giving too much that you cannot give, but it's in Israel. Well, you just mentioned now, United States, so the border, but in Israel, we probably have to use them constantly, 20
Yeah, the dogs are
12 months.
working. They're working all the time. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's a war or not.
Right.
There's always something going on with the IDF. Almost every operation that goes out has, they want to have dogs with them because dogs, as we said, save lives. So the soldiers and the dogs are constantly working. There's nothing boring going on. A dog wouldn't just sit there and do nothing. There's always a job.
How many years do they serve?
7, 8.
The dogs, yes, until they get a little tired,
Like
which
me.
is around here, the 7
Like
or
me,
8.
the schlep. When they start to schlep, that's it. But
Wow.
The image of a dog, it's not a service dog, but the dog you used in your unit have quite terrible connotation, because as we know, the Nazis, used to walk around with dogs, and the image of a dog, looking even at you, a dog like that.
But not
even
only the
looking at you.
Nazis, the whole idea that they use for people is attack dog or brutal dog. So, and it's not fair to the dogs because they're not always like this. They're being trained maybe to
I can tell you about you're very correct. I can tell you about the history of this. When I joined the unit, I'm old. Okay, I haven't been in I was discharged in 97 after 4 years in the army. I'm that old. When I joined the army, it didn't have its name, Oketz. It was only named after the number, which I wouldn't mention. And one of the people, the existence of the unit was actually a secret. It was somewhere, and nobody knew what it did and where it was. And part of the reason was exactly what you're saying, which is this was less years after the Holocaust. People still had the connotation, and the unit actually, I think it became public around 94, 95. That's when the IDF admitted that the unit existed, but it was established in the 70s. So you're very correct about the connotation, and they really tried to keep it a secret for 20 years.
I think it's like our little victory, because we use now what they use on us, we use it to watch our border and save our people. So I don't know. I can understand the connotation, but I think it's a kind of a victory that we have such a big army and so many abilities and skills that they wouldn't have dreamed in the Second World War.
So did robots replace dogs, let's say, for searching, let's say, munitions? We think now about, going inside, some tunnels in Gaza. Anybody think of sending a robot rather than a dog?
I mean, the IDF has robots as well, but it really depends. Again, we can't go into details, but if you can send a robot, you probably would. I mean, it's like you have the bomb squads, in the police force. You have the same thing in the IDF as well. You've had it for years, but it really depends. I mean, on the size and the terrain and the speed that you have to operate in, a whole bunch of things that would mean that you will need to take a dog with you. Would prefer sending a robot, but it's not always possible.
You have to be really trained. Sorry that I'm going into that, but my imagination. So if I have to direct a scene with one of you in a movie, so one hand is holding the dog, the other hand is, like I see in the picture behind you, holding
weapon.
the weapon, and I wonder how can you manage?
What do you mean?
Well,
That's
you
why you
put a
train so
dog,
hard.
so what?
They're trained for
So imagine this, right? First of all, you're joining just a normal commando unit, right?
Yeah.
You could be joining, you know, Shahedat 13, the Navy SEALs, or Sayeret Matkal, which is the Delta Force or whatever. So you join them, you have to be at their level, right? You can't be left behind when they're running around or doing anything. So you have to be a combat soldier at the level of the, you know, the highest level of the commando units. And at the same time, you professionally know, you're the only one who knows about the dog and what their response is and how they operate and what it means when they wag their tail, whatever else. So yes, you're right. This is why it's so interesting. This is why people want to serve in the.
Yeah, it's kind of difficult. So I just saw
But
your
but
dog.
I want to say something. You say one hand with the dog and one hand on the weapon. Always two hands
With a weapon.
on the weapon. Always.
So the dog, okay, no, because I see everything. I have to visualize it. What can I do? Yeah, okay, so yeah, well, I will not go
Just
because I'm
Just
starting to,
imagine it with two hands on the weapon, and the dog is also there, but we
Right.
always, you know,
Right.
we are combat fighter after all, and before everything and after.
Are you tender and lovable to those dogs in the sea, you know, in your unit, like your dog? We just saw your dog. He's really cute. Can you give the same kind of affection?
Yes, definitely. I
Ah.
mean, you would, the same love that you have for your dog at home is the love that a soldier has for their dog. It's like that. I mean,
I
I'll
hate
show you.
it. Yeah.
I'll show you something, right?
Oh my
See
God.
this? I mean, it's
Ah,
upside down, right?
yeah.
This is my dog from 30 years ago.
Ah.
I've tattooed her on my arm. This is my love for her. Okay, she's not around
Wow.
anymore, honestly.
Wow. So,
But
yeah,
I can only imagine what happens when the dog gets killed and the soldier left, or the opposite. It's heartbreaking.
Why won't you tell the story about Nauro?
about whom?
Nauro.
he has a story.
I don't know the details, but Nowhere is a dog. I mean, it's been published, so we can
Wait,
tell you guys
okay.
about it.
Can you start again because I was too busy of messing up the picture? Go.
I was saying, I mean, this has been published since the beginning of the war, so we can talk about it a little bit. But a dog was killed in action in Gaza on the first day on October 7th in the massacre. Basically, a dog saved the lives of the soldiers because they charged onto the terrorists. Basically, you know, they disabled them a little bit. The dog got killed, and then the soldier behind them, their handler, got inside and you know, eliminated the terrorists. So that's kind of the symbiotic. In this case, the dog died. It's been told.
Yeah. Do you study the psychology of dog? Listen, what I mean is, I'm, you know, when I'm for a long time trying to think about the evilness of humans, right? And I'm always thinking, does a person have to have predisposition to be violent? Or it's like you know, like what they did now, you know, to the kibbutzim and the settlements near Gaza, the brutality and the unbelievable violence. And it's we cannot even think about it, you know, how. So a dog, when he's born, so, you know, I also always claim in a way that all of us has both sides, right? We cannot pretend that, oh, we don't have any bad or whatever you want to call it. We all have the question, how do we contain it and what will trigger it, right? Dogs. So those dogs have, when they are born, you start to like engineer them to be violent, but there are also tender, right? They still
First of all, there are different breeds, and each breed has different qualities. And
really
for
they're
some
born, they
breed-
don't born equally, like a
all the dogs?
pit bull and poodle.
No,
They're
Well,
not
first
born
of
the
all,
same.
not at
the
all.
dogs, you mean you can see behind me, that's the kind of dog. It's called Malinois. It's a Belgian Shepherd.
Sure.
That's the one that's being used not only by IDF, but most of, any security
Yeah,
force
we know
around.
him. Yeah, he's
These are
famous.
the dogs that are being used because of their basic qualities of being very energetic, very smart, very athletic and stuff like that.
No. What other stuff? Oh, they have predisposition
Dogs are
for
not born
violence?
equal, obviously, just like people, right? So you train them.
Yeah, you do
Uh,
engineer them.
some would
Not
prove
engineer, you
Yeah.
train them.
some would prove not to be, suitable for the mission. But a lot of them will be suitable. There's no viciousness, I would say. I mean, that's sort of my personal opinion as a dog trainer, but there's no viciousness in dogs. It's all a
I'm
result
happy
of
to
the
hear.
circumstances.
The truth is that the PR around this kind of dogs is
Bad.
scary.
Also, pit bull. Is pit
And,
bull as violent as we know?
And
Yeah,
it's
but
really
you can.
let's say that some dogs are more scary than the others, or maybe they have the ability.
I'll tell you why. Again, this is my take on why some dogs are more dangerous than other dogs. It really depends on how strong the dog is naturally, right?
Yeah.
If Ohad's poodle over there goes crazy all of a sudden, there is a limit to how much damage they can do. Although you did get stitches once, didn't you? But but otherwise, it's not that dangerous. And if a very strong dog that knows that has been taught how to bite and stuff like that, if they go crazy, then it's more dangerous. But again, a dog, even a pit bull, is never like vicious. The word vicious doesn't apply to dogs, I don't think.
I'm happy
Right?
to
It's
hear
all a matter
that.
of how they
That's
breed.
why I say that the PR for these dogs is bad and wrong, and it scares people, and then they trigger them, to attack or to be violent, which is not fair.
The PR I think talking about is exactly what Itai said. It's if you can go, you can look up for statistic of which breed of the dogs have more incident of biting. The pit bull won't be in the top. It would be, I think, less. But when the pit bull is biting, it will get to the news because he have like the power to, I don't know, to kill a little girl. Like it was like, I think 10 years ago or 20 years ago. I don't remember. But I think that most of the people that are vicious are drawn to those kinds of dogs, and they teach it to be violent. Because if you teach your dog and you give him the right education or training, he won't to be vicious, because
it's basically, it's up to the person that take the dog and wants to get something out of it. So they train them in a way that people relate to them the same way that they want.
Do you have any example of any dog that you were with? In the army, I don't speak your little, wonderful, cute one, that ever showed a moment of tenderness that you can remember?
Of course, it's a daily thing. I mean, I could show you photos of myself in the unit with my dogs. I had two. I had two dogs throughout my service, and it's always fun. It's always fun and games, right? Especially right. I was in the explosive detection unit, right? So there's no biting, as opposed to like attack dogs where Ohad was. So basically, it's all a game for everyone. I mean, you sometimes even look silly. Like you go around with another unit, and everyone is like with their guns, watching and looking for stuff, and you're playing with your dog because that's how you work. Right. So you send them, and if they find, if they do something right, then then you smile and you're happy and you encourage them, and it's I would say when I was in Lebanon, like in the first section, I
Hope
don't
you'll
know,
not be
80,
there again.
2000, and I always used to say that it's funny because everyone else is like looking for for Hezbollah or whatever, and I'm playing with my dog like right in the middle of the field because they did something right, and I'm happy with them. And one of the things you learn, I have to admit, when you just join the unit and they teach you how to encourage your dog, some people like myself feel stupid, right? Because you're a very courageous soldier, and you have to make these funny noises and everything else because you want the dog to do what you want them to do, and you get used to it.
Ah, you look
You know.
childish a bit.
You do, but you don't care, right? You practice so
That's
much
great. You bring
that
out the child in you. But that's remind me something. So I grew up on Lassie, not the dogs that on the background. And Lassie, when something happened to her owner, she used to run and look for help. Those dogs, what they will do if, God forbid, the soldier get wounded? You understand the question? Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's individual, I guess, but
You don't. So you don't expect them to also help the soldier if their owner, whatever their owner, if he get wounded.
a soldier with their equipment weighs maybe 100 kilos, 50 pounds, 200 pounds. And, if something, God forbid, happened to the soldier, the dog can't really help them. Like they can't carry them.
I cannot put like a Jose Morquim. How do you call
But usually,
Yeah, they
not
don't know
alone
how to
there, you
treat
have
them.
other soldiers.
They
So.
don't know how to stop the blood. Huh?
Right.
Okay, but it's
So,
an
but
idea. Don't you
if
think
the
I'm
soldier is
creative
wounded,
here?
I'm sorry?
Don't you think I am creative here? It's a good idea if you'll add to the training how to save the soldier.
Yeah, well, we do it the other way around, right? The soldiers actually go through veterinarian training so that they can save the dog.
No, but not the dog. Them. Oh, yeah.
The other way around is not a good use of anyone's time.
Right.
Even though they're very intelligent.
What happened to the other side when a dog comes in? Because there's a very different attitude to dogs between each culture and
a female or male.
area.
It's all males, right? No female.
What, the dogs?
They have girls.
They
have girls in the unit.
Well, actually,
dogs, female dogs in the unit.
No, they have
The
female.
unit has.
No, don't ask about female soldiers. I ask about female dogs.
Yeah, the female dogs. You have an equal number probably of female and
really?
dogs. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. The female. I had 2 female dogs. Okay, that's all I had when I was in there.
No wonder you enjoy yourself.
Female combat fighters.
Right. Also, Oketz is the sort of the most, what would we say?
Equality between men and women.
It's the most equal, and the women in the unit are doing pretty much the same as men. All the activities, the most dangerous ones, the most interesting ones. They're. If you're a woman and you want to be a combat soldier, Oketz is probably the place for you.
My wife also been in the unit.
Say it again.
My wife been a combat soldier in the unit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you're not afraid to, I don't know, to go and sleep with her?
Of course I do. I afraid my wife more than the Hamas.
Of course.
Oh, that sounds bad.
But you can see smile. He look at me and say, what the fuck are you talking about?
But I want to know about the differences, the cultural differences towards dogs. So when you come with a dog to the enemy, how do they react?
They're afraid, really. For them, it's even more. No, everybody.
You have to remember, the unit's been around for many years, out there. So they know that the IDF is using dogs. They're not surprised by the presence of a dog. Once upon a time, they used to be surprised. Now they know, and just like they know we have weapons and stuff. They know we have dogs. I imagine it's not. They don't enjoy it. Put it this way.
Right. So the
I don't think it's it's not a cultural thing. If a dog comes to search and bites you, I don't think
Oh, you have a problem with the sound. We didn't hear you.
Yeah, you lost your sound.
You lost your sound.
Battery.
Although you have two globes behind you.
Anyways, I would say the dog is as effective with someone who's afraid of dogs and someone who's not afraid of dogs. Doesn't matter.
No, because you
No,
could
I
say,
know about the dogs. I'm just talking about the people. I'm talking about the people that are facing the dog, because I know that there's a big cultural differences between culture and culture
right.
towards.
Right.
I don't know if
Yeah.
it's true. We
So,
always knew that Arabs
Generally,
dogs,
probably,
dogs.
you know, the Arab population doesn't love dogs as much
Yes.
as we do.
Right.
Okay.
But the dogs can smell when you're afraid, no? Sense.
It's
I don't know.
not, they can sense fear.
Sense. If I would come
It
near
really
your
depends.
dog, they will sense immediately that I'm, you know, from Tzina Square, which is Dizengoff Square. They will know that I am like, you know, yeah.
I don't think the idea of dogs care if you're scared of them or not.
Oh, no?
They're just doing their job.
I thought that they are drawn to fear of, you know, the person.
They are so, you know, locked under mission that it doesn't matter.
Look how much we learn about dog.
Does it happen sometimes that you find out that the dog is not fit for the mission or is not fit for the whole thing that you give him? Because I know that with the dogs, help dogs, you know, for service dogs, sometimes they train them, let's say a year and a half, and then they find out that the dog doesn't fit to be a service dog, and they eliminate it. I mean, they just give him away. They don't really use him as a service dog, and then or either they start again or they take another dog.
It happens. Just like you mentioned, if when you're training a dog, sometimes the dogs just wouldn't, you know, the dogs really like their job. Okay, that's a very basic
what
thing.
part of the job?
Their job. If it's an explosive dog, then they really like finding explosives.
Wow.
And if it's an attack dog, then they really like disabling terrorists. Okay,
Wow.
again, not going into details. If they don't like it, and you know, you have your tricks to make them like it, right? In a good way. But if they don't like it, and you sometimes, you know, you can't tell when they're a puppy if they're gonna like it or not. It looks like they're gonna like it, and then they end up not liking it. Then
So
you cannot
it
use
depends
them.
also, they are moody? They have different moods or not? Moods.
Not like people.
They
no.
cannot get up in the morning and be depressed?
No.
I had a dog, Bella, and she sometimes was depressed. You know.
I mean, you might be generally, the dog may be generally more depressed than other dogs, which means they won't like the job that much, which means that they're not suitable. But if they do like it,
okay.
It's not like people when they get a depression and they get pills and stuff.
So who brings?
Don't forget you are talking about also about working dogs. It's a big difference. Then from working dogs, then dogs that just being in your house. You know, I'm not talking about only about our unit. I'm talking about also dogs that I don't know help hunting or whatever. So when they have their mission, they will be a bit different than the dog you have at your house. And when you leave, he's a bit depressed because he's bored or I don't know.
So I don't know. Please forgive me how far I go. Can you create those dogs by a 3D printer? No, you know the 3D that you can create everything. You can, no, 3D printer. No, you can do it.
Yeah, but
intelligent.
No. It's something not an AI. Before AI, we could do different, even in a heart. You can print.
Oh, but
it's 3D.
You cannot.
3D.
Yeah, but these are live creatures.
You cannot create creatures. I mean, you can't even create a mosquito, right? So, not to mention.
Well, let me check. Let me check it. I'm not sure. Right.
Please get back to me with that.
I don't know about the AI. How much you can benefit your unit. I don't think so, right? But I just want to go back because I forgot. So you say that you have female dogs and male dogs, right? There is equality. There is good. Me too for both. Okay, that's nice. That's very nice. So anyway, so Ohad,
Mhm.
so you met your wife at the unit? Sorry to ask you a personal question.
Why?
Feel free. I met my wife not exactly in the unit because she's like 4 years younger than me,
Good for you.
but my my best friend from the team, he stayed more like he wasn't an officer, but he stayed more than 3 years, and he like introduced me to her. And
Yeah, it's nice to have somebody who had the same kind of interest. You know, it's really nice.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
sorry to ask, what you do now, Etai and Ohad, you are both not in the army, right?
No, they
You are,
No.
that's
Not
it.
generally,
Not,
except
yeah.
for,
So did you
well,
follow?
Ohad is your neighbor, right? He lives in the States.
Oh, you live
And
here?
he lives here.
Oh, what you're
and
doing there, if I may ask? I'm just curious, lady.
Me, I'm a photographer.
What?
I'm a photographer.
Oh, photographer, still photography?
Mhm. Yeah.
Oh, very nice. Anytime, what are you doing, if I may ask?
so I'm in high tech, just like all the Israelis, right? Startup
Okay.
nation. Uh,
That your
and,
iTech is doing something valuable?
Probably not, but it's valuable for me. I mean, it pays
I'm
my
sure.
my
I'm
rent
sure.
and everything else.
No, because
Um,
like to be in the army like what you did, you need to be really devoted. And
Listen, I'll tell you something that I keep telling people in the unit. So first of all, I haven't been in the unit in many years, actually. I went back right now to help them in sort of in the war effort with stuff that I know, how to do. But generally, I've been a software developer for much longer than I've been a dog trainer. But and I've founded a few startups. Some of them were even successful. And I claim that I learned this in the army, because
the skills, you mean, right? What it
right,
takes to
but
become, yeah.
especially in the dogs unit, it's not entirely scientific. It's not just that you train for something and you do exactly as you're told and then you're all okay. When you're with a dog, there's a range of things you have to constantly look at the dog, try to think what they're thinking. You have to find solutions for new problems all the time, right? New dogs, new behavior, new activities, new type of problems, like what we have right now. We have, again, you can imagine, there are new challenges right now in the war that we've never seen in Israel, and the people in the unit have to think, really hard out of the box about how to do things in a different way. And I think that's part of what prepared me for the startup world, because that's what
Completely
we do.
logical.
Well,
I also see you, Ohad. Wait, so being a
Mhm.
photographer, you were a photographer before the army? No, you were just came from high school, no?
No, I wasn't a photographer. I like to take photos, but I wasn't a
So
photographer.
what did you carry? Because, being a photographer, you really have to have an eye for facial expression, body language, right? I don't know
Yes.
if I make sense to you,
Unless
but
he's taking
Yeah,
pictures.
no, it doesn't matter what
depends
picture he's taking.
exactly which genre you do, but I do a lot of portraits, so it's important. But I think what the unit taught me is how to be assertive with other people, which is not my organic team, because as Itai said in the beginning, we always go with other units. So in my work, I can be today with some organization, tomorrow I can be with
Right.
somebody else. So I have to be very assertive and to know how to work with other people very fast. And
But
like,
guys, you know, being in the army, and we all, you know, we were all in the army, it's rooted in your system. I mean, after 2-3 years in the army, it's rooted in your system, and
They get skills though.
it affects everybody in Israel in different ways, and it becomes part of you, and you either take advantage of it or you just dislike it and you go the other way.
But you do develop skills.
It's very strong effect on everybody's
Right.
personal life. So this is like
Right.
given to all of us. Well, well, first of all, thank you.
Yeah.
And
Listen,
I'm
how much we know
sure-
about dogs now.
And since you, like all the other units, you need help, we're going to put the
Visuals.
no. We're going to put the information at the bottom of the screen. And good luck to everybody.
Okay, wow.
And for the
you
case-
want, sorry to bother you, want Etai like to say one sentence about where it goes?
Sure.
What
Yes,
people would do if they want to
Yeah.
contribute, where the support goes.
right. Right.
Right. So basically, I mean, the foundation, right? The Haorchim Barosh, leaders of the pack, we say in English, generally is the foundation of the veterans. So we take care of the veterans, all kinds of activities, scholarships, stuff like that. This is what we do in peace times. But now it's the first war we've had in 50 years. And you know, everyone has joined the effort one way or another. What the foundation is right now doing is helping the unit and the soldiers and the dogs, right? So this is what we're doing right now, we're raising funds for, you know, basic equipment, stuff that people are missing. The army, again, hasn't been in a situation like this where all the reserve forces have been recruited at the same time. You know, Oketz has never had so many soldiers in the unit at the same time. And so this is what we're doing right now, and also kind of preparing for the day after. We're gonna have people needing help. We're gonna have dogs needing help after the war is over successfully. And so this is what we're doing right now, basically raising funds for those kind of activities.
Listen, good luck.
Okay.
It seems like fascinating. It was a
Guys,
fascinating talking to you, that's for sure.
thank you very
you.
much.
You
Thank
too.
you so
Thank you.
much.
And see you all
See
next
you,
week.
thank you.
Bye.
Tzili, bye.